So for a hybrid or virtual Socratic seminar, your day one activities would be to make sure that you go through and group students based on the style of seminar you are planning to conduct, and be sure that you assign student roles. This is also where you provide students with all of the necessary texts and sources that they are going to need for annotation and analysis, and give them any note-taking guides or handouts to where students will complete those to make claims and gather evidence, identify possible counterclaims and how they might refute them. And you definitely want to just reflect on the process at the end of day one. How did you do? Do you feel prepared for this Socratic seminar that we're going to conduct tomorrow? Did everyone in the group participate in developing claims and gathering evidence and identifying what some of these counterclaims would be? You also want to make sure that you preview the expectations for day two conducting the seminar so that students know exactly what to expect when they arrive at your next class. And just so you know, we do have resources available in Caddo's Canvas Commons. So if you search virtual Socratic seminar and be sure you're filtering for Caddo, you will find a page that has several links to resources. So you will have links to a variety of different conversation stems, a variety of different note-taking templates that you are able to use to help make sure that you have everything that you need to facilitate this with your students.
Yeah. So in your breakout rooms, the first 5 minutes, read both texts in a given PDF, The New Women and The Great Gatsby passage, annotate as needed. The next 5 minutes, complete columns 1 and 2, only columns 1 and 2 in the graphic organizer. Discuss them as a group, grapple, decide what claims you can come up with and what counterclaims. In the last 5 minutes, discuss your evidence and counterclaims with your group and revise your note-taking sheet.
One. So
Okay.
we're establishing our claims and our evidence, and then whatever counterclaim that we think the other person would come up with. So do we all have to be in agreement on what our claim is?
I think we're supposed to discuss and maybe see what we're going to decide as a group, maybe.
Okay. Because I was good with the information from the new woman, but then the other text, I'm kind of lost at that one.
Yeah, look like that's a clip from a reading, and that's why I was coming in on.
I think she said it was from The Great Gatsby. I'm not sure.
He did.
Okay. And I know that, I guess that's around the same time because it's talking about, I think Gatsby had to do with flappers and everything like that, but I'm not picking up exactly what this has to do with the other one.
Well, I think, looking at that text from The Great Gatsby where
Okay.
He's commenting on where the baby girl has been born. And he said the best thing a girl can be in this world is a beautiful little fool.
Okay.
So I think that's, a talk. I can see that being a talking point, with what's going on with the flappers.
Okay.
The new woman compared to what men, here's the dad, this is what he's saying about his newborn baby girl.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Okay, are we ready to discuss and come up with a claim and evidence? Or are we still?
Yes.
Okay, so I feel comfortable with the two questions. I'm not sure about the first one. Can literature accurately represent the sentiments of a historical time period? I know that it can. I'm not sure if I'm necessarily getting all of that from that passage.
I have to concur with you on that one. The first question, I was actually pondering based on the evidence. I mean, not the evidence, the documents that we received to be effective in answering that.
And I think the word that's throwing us off is maybe accurately.
Yeah, because I think, okay, so, and definitely when Ms. Davidson pointed out the fact that, like he said, the only thing a girl could be is a beautiful, you know, a beautiful fool. And then we're looking at this time period where they were talking about how women were actually coming into political power, even though it didn't gain a whole lot of traction and it eventually fell away. So when I think of Gatsby, and from reading it and just what I remember about it, the women, that's all they were just like beautiful pieces.
Arm candy, what they would call them today.
What do you say?
Arm candy.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, just they were, yeah, you know. So I don't. To me, the book didn't reflect. It reflected the flapper lifestyle, especially with the social norms and the sexuality that women were discovering themselves that way. But it didn't really, to me, it really didn't reflect the political, you know, gains or the fact that women had started working. But I know that literature can do that.
All right, so when we think of the term sentiments, so if we think about, we know that that group of women, you know, were beginning to make some moves, be movers and shakers.
Okay.
But for the most part, how did, let's just say, 2/3 of women during this time period, you know, did they think, you know, that they shouldn't be doing anything, that, you know, get up, fix my hair, put on an apron, cook and clean, you know, be at the door with high heels on when honey gets home from work, you know, with his scotch and rock on the rocks in my hand, and how was your day, honey? You know, did most women agree with the idea that, okay, you know, I'm not supposed to strive to be anything more than this? So it just, you know, or could we say this is the male mindset?
The male mindset.
Well, but I would even say at that time, because even when I think about the flappers, even though, like we say, they were,
you know, cutting their hair.
Yeah, they were changing the way they looked. They changed the way they dressed. They were drinking. They were smoking. They were out, you know, dating different men. What was the end game? Do we think that those women were becoming independent, or were they just having this lifestyle at this point, but the end game was eventually I want to get married and have a husband and 2.5 kids?
And I guess that's where you, I guess, would have had to know what was the from a generation gap.
Yes.
Because I'm sure the older generation, I'm sure, frowned upon them.
Oh, I'm sure.
and were they so calling themselves making a statement with their action?
Okay.
You know, what kind of statement? Because as you guys said, the older generation frowned upon the behavior, you know, that they were doing at this time.
Okay.
All right. So once again, it says, can literature, books, accurately represent the sentiments of a historical time period?
Yes.
Okay.
I say yes.
All right, so we need to make the claim then that literature can accurately represent the sentiments of a historical time period. And what evidence from the text we would like to use is, I guess, particularly from that Great Gatsby part. Let me go back up to it. Okay, so I guess we would have to use, you know, as far as our evidence, would have to use the statement from the young lady when she talked about how she wept and then went on to make the statement that, you know, the best thing a girl can be in this world is a beautiful little fool.
Okay, so we can basically use that because we're saying she's a woman and she knows that her daughter, she knows what's in store for her
What's in
daughter in
store?
life.
Right.
Okay, all right. Okay, and then we have to come up with what we think is an anticipated counterclaim.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they may say something to the extent when they with a counterclaim? No, because sometimes literature can be biased.
Okay.
I mean, and they may even use that same statement, you know. I'm glad.
Okay, I put there what you said about literature can be biased. Would that be the same as saying that, you know, literature never's gonna it doesn't tell the whole story?
Yes, that's what
Right.
I'm trying to say. Because, like, for example, they may. What did she exactly mean by I hope she'll be a fool? That's the best thing a girl can be in this world, a beautiful little fool. What did she what did she actually mean when that was stated? You know, their point of view, the writer's point of view, I guess I'm
Okay.
trying to say.